in Bribegate. DMK YSRCP firefight charges. Andhra Chief Minister slams Jagan over Bribegate. Bribe giver and taker now under lens. US Adani storm. That is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime. US Adani storm. That is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Big fallout over the US court indictment against Gautam Adani. Now, there are several states that have been named as having had, in fact, these deals with the Adani Group and thereby allegedly received bribes. Now, these states, many of them opposition ruled, are speaking out. We'll be getting you details of what their defense is in light of the storm of allegations against them. Let's begin with the headlines. White House response to Adani Bribegate. India-US ties stand on strong foundation. They say we're confident of cooperation from both sides. States named in Adani Bribegate firefight charges. YSRCP, DMK, Congress refute allegations, claim their power deal was with central agency. Adani faces arrest if he doesn't appear for trial in America. Aghadi fears horse trading hours before counting day. Seda UBT says MLAs will be kept in Mumbai resort. Uddhav and Sharad Pawar hold virtual meet with candidates. Cash for votes row in Maharashtra escalates. BJP's Vinod Taude sends legal notice to Rahul Gandhi and Kharge, accuses them of levelling baseless charges. Freebie showdown in Delhi ahead of assembly polls. Kejriwal announces 6 freebies, including free power, free water in Delhi. BJP hits out at Revdi culture. And Canada fact-checks its own media, refutes reports of NSA Doval, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and Prime Minister Modi being linked to the Kill Nijjar plot. There's a political firestorm that's broken out as expected in India over the US court indictment against Gautam Adani and his associates. Now, while the Congress has been going after the BJP, demanding a joint parliamentary committee investigation, demanding the arrest of Gautam Adani, what's also in focus right now is a number of regional parties and the Congress too. Because while the Congress was in power in Chhattisgarh, you had the YSRCP in power in Andhra Pradesh, the DMK in power in Tamil Nadu. And in these states, it was when they were in power that allegedly these bribes were handed over to the state government. So now what really is their defense in light of these allegations and charges that they were involved in these corrupt deals? Let's tell you in our next report about the reactions, and then we'll break this down further for you.
The indictment of billionaire Gautam Adani by a US court has created ripples in India. Adani is facing trial in New York for not disclosing to American investors information about bribing government officials in India. At the heart of the scandal is a solar power deal between Adani Green Energy and the Solar Energy Corporation of India, or SECI, which in turn struck deals to supply power to Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Jammu and Kashmir. 3 out of the 4 parties that were in power in the states have reacted to charges that government officials were offered 2,029 crore rupees in bribes by the Adani company to seal the deals. Jagan Mohan Reddy was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh when the deal to buy 7 gigawatts from SECI was struck. The US indictment alleges 1,750 crores were offered for this deal. The YSRCP has claimed there was no direct involvement with the Adani Group and clarified the agreement was between the state power distribution firm and the central government's SECI. Current Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, the arch-rival of Jagan Reddy, is treading cautiously.
ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ప్రతిష్ట బ్రాండ్ కూడా దెబ్బతినే విధంగా ప్రవర్తించారు. మనం ఏ విధంగా చెప్పుకోగలుగుతాం అనే పరిస్థితి వస్తుంది. వాస్తవాలన్నీ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఎప్పటికప్పుడు అవన్నీ కూడా అధ్యయనం చేసుకొని ఏం చేయాలో చేస్తూనే మళ్ళా మీకు ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేస్తాం.
The DMK, which is in power in Tamil Nadu, dismissed allegations of bribery.
1500 மெகாவாட் மின்சாரம் கொள்முதல் செய்வதற்கான ஒப்பந்தங்கள் செய்யப்பட்டன. அதுவும் சோலார் எனர்ஜி கார்ப்பரேஷன் ஆஃப் இந்தியா லிமிடெட் மத்திய எரிசக்தி துறையினுடைய ஒரு அங்கம், அதனுடைய நிறுவனம். அதில் தான் ஒப்பந்தம் செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஏன்னா தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்தவரை அதானி நிறுவனத்திற்கும் தமிழ்நாடு மின்சார வாரியத்திற்கும் எந்த விதமான நேரடி தொடர்பும் இல்லை.
Former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel blamed the previous BJP government under Raman Singh for the deal.
छत्तीसगढ़ में जितने भी अडानी को खदान मिले हैं, पावर प्लांट मिले हैं, वो सब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के शासनकाल में या तो राज्य सरकार में रमन सिंह जब मुख्यमंत्री थे तब मिला, या केंद्र सरकार में 2015 में 14 के बाद जब प्रधानमंत्री बने मोदी तब उसके बाद मिला है.
The BJD, which was in power in Odisha, has remained tight-lipped.
ये अदानी इशू पे हम
अदानी इशू पे अभी नहीं बोलेंगे.
सुनिए सर, एक मिनट.
नहीं बोलेंगे भाई साहब, क्लियर नहीं हुआ है वो. जब क्लियर होगा सेकंड हाफ पे करेंगे.
With the US indictment claiming bribery in India, the big question is, will there be a probe here? An investigation can be ordered by any of the states or the central government. But so far, all have kept silent on that. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's just simplify for you what are the allegations against these state governments, and we'll explain for you what the alleged bribery deal is here, what's the role of the Adani Group as well as the other company here called Azure Power. So here's what happened essentially. The power supply agreement structure, the first initial awards, the letter of award was issued back in 2019, in December 2019. It was given to two, Adani Greens as well as Azure Power, which is owned by a Canadian. Now this was facilitated, essentially brought together by the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India. It's a Government of India body. Now from here you move forward to the power deals, the power supply agreements, and here's where the state governments come into question. There are several states, 5 in all. First you got the Andhra Pradesh government. This was in 2021, December 1st, where you had in fact a 2000 megawatt deal. The allegation here is that the maximum bribes, where we talk about over $200 million bribes, most of it went to Andhra Pradesh. The first deal was with Andhra. And then you had also with the Odisha government 500 megawatts. So actually before in fact Andhra Pradesh there were several others signed, but you look at really the details and the scale, it's the largest in Andhra. So you have Odisha also here with 500 megawatts on July 22nd. Let's talk about Chhattisgarh. That time it was the Congress in power because this was in August 2021. Tamil Nadu under DMK, and finally Jammu and Kashmir under central government rule. These are the 5 states essentially that have been named. So remember that in 2021, Andhra Pradesh under Jagan Mohan Reddy, Odisha under, in fact, the BJD, you had Chhattisgarh under the Congress, Tamil Nadu under the DMK, Jammu and Kashmir under central government rule. Let's talk now about Andhra Pradesh first. Apurva Jayachandran is joining us with more details on what really the YSRCP's defense is here, Apurva. What really has the YSRCP done to combat this political storm now that's hit them?
YSRCP has given a very strong.
The YSRCP has given a very strong statement there. In fact, they have said that there hasn't been any kind of links tied to Adani.
Also goes on and also states that this kind of blame game that is going on, this has nothing to do with the YSRCP. In fact, the YSRCP also goes on and reiterates that they have gone in and made with this kind of talk, this kind of links there with respect to the said plant. In fact,
to the said plant, in fact, the 7,000
which is in question there. In fact, the YSRCP also goes on and tells that they had gone ahead and done this as part of the proposal that had been taken ahead. In the statement that has been issued by the YSRCP yesterday, the party very clearly says that there hasn't been any wrongdoing that the party had taken through this sale and the proposal of the solar power, solar plant that had been set in motion, the MOUs and the geo orders that had since been published. In fact, the YSRCP led government there, they said that this had happened during the last, this had happened during the last tenure, that is during their period. But all that had happened was what was continuation of the talks that had gone on, especially with
for more details. But let's also talk right now about the nitty-gritties that have come to the fore in this particular case. And one of the questions that emerged really when you talk about the fallout of this entire controversy is, what does this mean for the Adani Group? It's a powerhouse, of course, of India's multinational landscape and is facing now mounting challenges as global investors are hesitating following serious legal troubles.
For a group which is today one of India's largest multinational conglomerates, the doors to global fundraising may slowly be closing, at least in the short term, till legal proceedings reach closure. The US indictment of Group Chairman Gautam Adani, his nephew Sagar Adani and 6 others in cases of bribery and fraud is likely to keep international investors and lenders away from the group. The fallout has already begun. The group took a hit when it was forced to scrap a $600 million bond issue in the US as the news of the indictment broke. This brought back memories of the 20,000 crore rupee FPO the group was forced to abandon in January 2023 after the Hindenburg allegations.
Information that has been provided to us.
Kenya has also cancelled airport and power purchase deals that are said to be worth $2.5 billion with the Adani Group.
The information that has been provided to us by partner nations. I have directed agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for JKI expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as the recently concluded Ketrago transmission in public and immediately commence the process of onboarding alternative partners, because these are important projects.
One of the crown jewels of the group, Adani Ports, along with 2 other companies, Adani Green Energy and Adani Electricity, have seen their ratings outlook cut to negative. Ratings agency S&P says the US indictment could affect investor confidence in Adani Group entities, thereby potentially impairing their funding access and increasing their funding costs. The report adds that their cash flows could be materially affected, their funding costs could rise significantly, it could also result in non-renewal of facilities or significantly higher interest rates. S&P also says the allegations could renew questions over the group's governance practices and damage its reputation. According to the agency, Adani Group needs regular access to both equity and debt markets given its large growth plans, in addition to its regular refinancing. The impact on the stock markets was immediate on Thursday, with investors in Adani stock losing 2.28 lakh crore rupees, though several companies saw buying today. The bond markets also reflected the bearish sentiment, with prices across Adani Group companies falling sharply. The Adani companies have long-established infrastructure assets with strong fundamentals and cash flows. It says the firms currently have sufficient cash flows, adequate liquidity, and face no significant refinancing needs. As of 31st March 2024, the Adani Group had 2.41 lakh crore rupees in total debt. Of this, a little over 88,000 crore is from Indian lenders. Around 26% of the debt is from overseas lenders, while around 70,000 crore has been raised through global and domestic bonds. The Adani Group also had a cash balance of 59,791 crore rupees as on 31st March, enough for 30 months of debt payment. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, SEBI is looking into whether Adani Green Energy failed to properly disclose the US Justice Department's investigation into bribery allegations. The report says the fact-finding could last 2 weeks, following which SEBI will decide on a formal investigation. Bureau Report, Business Today.
And we've got the first statement coming in from the BJD, which remember was in power when allegedly the deal with Adani Group was signed in Odisha. They've denied a direct role in the Adani bribe gate. The Odisha government was, remember, named in the US indictment. Naveen Patnaik was the chief minister when these alleged bribes were given. But the BJD maintains that the solar power contract was with the centre. And this is essentially the clarification that's coming from most of these states. They say that the deal was done with the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India, and they had no dealings whatsoever with the Adani Group. So the BJD also making it very clear that they have absolutely nothing to do with, in fact, the Adani Group. So there's no question of receiving any sort of kickbacks or bribes. So we've told you about really the clarification that's come in from the BJD, that's come in on the Odisha government's charges. Let's talk about the other states. So we'll put out that graphic again that we showed you earlier today of, in fact, the states and their alleged role in receiving bribes. And as we, in fact, move on from Odisha, let's also talk about Tamil Nadu right now and get in Shilpa Nair on that. Shilpa, take us through really what the Tamil Nadu government's defense has been in light of these allegations.
Well, Akhita, as far as the Tamil Nadu government is concerned, the electricity minister here, Senthil Balaji, clarified yesterday that ever since the DMK came to power in 2021, for the last 3 years, as far as the power department is concerned, there's not been any direct relationship or any commercial relationship with the Adani Group. That is the clarification that Senthil Balaji, the electricity minister, said. He, of course, went on to say that keeping in mind the power requirements of the state government had signed a pact with the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India, a central government entity, for purchasing 1,500 megawatts of power at a cost of rupees 2.61 per unit for a period of 25 years. Now, this was essentially the contract that Tamil Nadu government signed. So, the Senthil Balaji, the electricity minister, says, look, our deal was with the centre. It's a central government entity. We've not had any direct connection or relationship or business relationship with the Adani government. Therefore, these allegations don't stick, is what Senthil Balaji, of course, said. And today, of course, when we spoke to several DMK leaders, they're also saying that, if at all the centre believes the fault lies with the state governments, then what's stopping them from carrying out an investigation? They might as well ask the CBI or the ED to probe these alleged irregularities, and whoever is responsible, whoever has taken bribes, let them be arrested, is what the DMK says, clearly putting the ball in the centre's, court. But clearly, as far as the opposition parties here are concerned, be it the main opposition party, which is the AIDMK, there's been a conspicuous silence from the side of the AIDMK. The opposition leader here, Edapadi K. Palliswamy, is yet to even give a reaction on these allegations, on the fact that Tamil Nadu has been mentioned in that US court document. So clearly, at this point in time, there's a blame game that's going on between the centre and the state. As far as the DMK government is concerned, they say we've not had any direct business relationship with the Adani Group. As far as the power sector is concerned, the last 3 years, we only had a pact with this SECI, which is a central government entity. Therefore, none of these allegations...
defense that's essentially coming in from all of the states, saying they have absolutely nothing to do with Adani Green. They have absolutely nothing to do with the Adani Group. This was with the SECI. I want to bring in Sumi Rajapan. She's joining us live from Raipur. In Chhattisgarh too, there's a similar controversy. Sumi, you've spoken to Congress leaders who were in power in 2021. What has been their defense? Similar to the lines of what Tamil Nadu or Andhra are maintaining?
Yes, absolutely. Chhattisgarh is also maintaining the same stance. In fact, yesterday, when we spoke with the former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, who also was the Power Minister back in 2021, when the entire PSA, that is the Power Sale Agreement, was signed between SECI and the Adani Greens, it was completely clear. In fact, Bhupesh Baghel seconded what Rahul Gandhi was maintaining, that a joint parliamentary committee probe should be made into the all Adani transactions that have happened during the time. And in fact, T.S. Singh Dev, who also was
was handling the power portfolio between July 2023 to December 2023, also mentioned the same thing, that he was neither the power minister nor the deputy chief minister when this entire deal was made. And in fact, he also maintained that if the JPC probe is done, the results should be made public so that people should know and the entire process that has happened and gone beyond the PSA. And in fact, Chhattisgarh's government is also completely silent on this regard. BJP government is in power right now in Chhattisgarh. However, the Congress government is completely buying this whole thing, that Rahul Gandhi, whatever he has said, that it is bringing shame to the entire nation that an Indian citizen is indulged in such a bribery scam. And in fact,
such a circumstance, you know, you've got every party involved saying very clearly they were in communication only with the SECI, with the Solar Energy Corporation of India, and they had no dealings whatsoever with the Adani Group. The question is, if these allegations are true, who really received these alleged kickbacks? Who received these alleged bribes? You've got all the parties denying their role. Thanks to me, thanks Shilpa for getting us all of those details. We will, of course, continue to track this because in many of the states, this has created huge ripples with demands also for a detailed investigation to be held against these parties. We will be tracking the latest that comes in on this. I'm slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we shift our focus to the state of Maharashtra. We're hours away from counting, hours away from knowing who the people of Maharashtra have chosen. And the political parties involved are getting the jitters, going ahead and putting their plan Bs in place.
ज़माने से हटकर बेबाक है मेरा सिग्नेचर. Signature Finest Cardamom Seeds, a premium product from Dilbar Group.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Rangila Re, with Motorola's incredible range of smartphones.
Hello, Moto. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Supreme Court issues notice to CBI and ED on Manish Sisodia's bail relaxation plea in Delhi excise policy case. Several dead in gas leak at fertilizer plant in Maharashtra's Sangli. Supreme Court seeks Gyanvapi Mosque Committee's response on plea for ASI survey of sealed area.
Rajdeep the cowboy. From the wondrous coastline of the Konkan to the villages deep in Vidarbha, from the bright lights of Mumbai to the quiet, sleepy towns of Marathwada. Why do the Marathas want reservations? I've been crisscrossing Maharashtra, my home state, for the last fortnight. Chopper, by car, on foot, to get a sense of what's happening on the ground. Who's winning the battle for Maharashtra? I'll be armed with all the information you need to make it a very special election coverage. On verdict day, 6 a.m. onwards, 23rd of November. Only on India Today.
We all know that in parliament election, Lok Sabha elections, general elections also, the exit poll made Modi ji to win 400 seats, but at last Modi came to 240 seats. Therefore, the exit poll has no relevance at all in India, and particularly the paid fake polls of Mr. Modi will make him happy for 4 days. 23rd is the election result day. On that day, we will get a correct picture. Therefore, let us not go into this kind of opinion polls which has lost relevance in India.
हर एक तख्ते को सरकार के माध्यम से फ़ायदा कैसे हो, उन तक डेवलपमेंट वर्क कैसे पहुँचे, इसके लिए हम लोगों ने 2.5 साल में अलग अलग निर्णय लिए और उसी का नतीजा अभी आपको देखने के लिए मिल रहा है। वोटिंग परसेंटेज भी बढ़ा है, लोग बड़े तादाद पर नीचे आए और मुझे पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस है कि लोगों ने महायुति की सरकार फिर से बनने के लिए बड़े तादाद पर मतदान किया।
सारी टेंशन लेने की उनकी ज़रूरत नहीं है कि होटल्स बुक करें और चॉपर्स बुक करें। उनको महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनको छुट्टी देने वाली है अगले 25 साल के लिए। जिस तरीके से लूट मचाया है, जिस तरीके से भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है, जिस तरीके से अदानी की सरकार चली है, वो ख़त्म होने वाली है। जनता हमें बहुमत देगी, स्पष्ट सिंपल मेजॉरिटी मिलेगी और हम जनता की सेवा में 5 साल डटे रहेंगे, जुटे रहेंगे। और जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर व्यवस्था खत्म हुई है, जो किसानों को त्रस्त किया है, जो महिलाओं को की सेफ्टी को इश्यूज बढ़े हैं, युवाओं को बेरोजगार किया है, हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज को दूसरे राज्यों में भेजा है, वो सब खत्म होगा, उस पर पूर्ण विराम लगेगा और इनकी सरकार जाने को है। इसलिए ये लोग शायद हेलीकॉप्टर ये सब इसलिए बुक करा रहे हैं कि इनको पता है कि जब हारेंगे तो जनता इनको पूरा जो लेखा जोखा है वो कर देगी और इसलिए उनको भागने की जरूरत पड़ेगी। कल सुबह से नतीजे आएंगे। हमें पूरा विश्वास है कि हमें बहुमत प्राप्त होने जा रहा है। 160, 165 तक हम विधायक हमारे चुनकर आएंगे। महाराष्ट्र बहुत बड़ा राज्य है, दूर दरार से लोग चुनकर आएंगे। मुंबई में आने के बाद उनके लिए रहने के लिए जगह नहीं है, कहाँ रहेंगे वो, भागम भाग होगी, उनके ऊपर प्रेशर रहेगा इन लोगों का, खोखे वालों का। तो सबकी रहने की व्यवस्था एक होटल में एक जगह पर करने की योजना हम बना रहे हैं।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Co-powered by Somani Tiles. Zameen se jude. Mahindra Electric Origin SUVs. Monte Carlo. It's the way you make me feel.
To go for counting. Parties ready, plan B. Resort politics takes center stage.
उनके ऊपर प्रेशर रहेगा इन लोगों का, खोखे वालों का। तो सबकी रहने की व्यवस्था एक होटल में एक जगह पर करने की योजना हम बना रहे हैं।
I'm absolutely firm and clear that it is going to be the Mahayuti that is coming to power और इनकी तो नैया डूब चुकी है। शायद इस वजह से उनके पास कोई बयान नहीं बचे और ये वैसे विवादक बयान देते रहे।
Alliances focus on keeping flock intact.
और इनकी सरकार जाने को है, इसलिए ये लोग शायद हेलीकॉप्टर ये सब इसलिए बुक करा रहे हैं कि इनको पता है कि जब हारेंगे तो जनता इनको पूरा जो लेखा जोखा है वो कर देगी और इसलिए उनको भागने की जरूरत पड़ेगी।
Mahaverdict, Mahachurn.
Resorts are being booked right now. You've got choppers, planes, all on standby, and that's because both the Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi are on edge. Counting day is tomorrow. We're hours away from knowing who Maharashtrians have chosen. but it could go down to the wire, in which case you've got plan B being readied by both sides. So expect a whole lot of political fireworks in the state of Maharashtra, at least going by what's been happening in the last few hours, with allegations of horse trading already coming up, with MLAs being told that if you win, candidates being told if you win, you will be kept in a resort, so the opponent can't go ahead and reach you or contact you. All of this is playing out before counting day in Maharashtra.
Hours before the crucial counting day, the political heat in Maharashtra is rising. Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut has sparked a storm, revealing plans to keep MLAs at a resort to avoid poaching by the ruling Mahayuti.
160-165 तक हम विधायक हमारे चुनकर आएंगे। मुंबई में आने के बाद उनके लिए रहने के लिए जगह नहीं है, कहाँ रहेंगे वो, भागम भाग होगी, उनके ऊपर प्रेशर रहेगा इन लोगों का, खोखे वालों का, तो सबकी रहने की व्यवस्था एक होटल में एक जगह पर करने की योजना हम बना रहे हैं।
Mahayuti leaders, on the other hand, are confident of a landslide.
The people who have the audacity to talk about no jihad are the ones who have been propagating vote jihad, liquor jihad, and all kinds of ill practices during election. It is going to be the Mahayuti that is coming to power. और इनकी तो नैया डूब चुकी है, शायद इस वजह से उनके पास कोई बयान नहीं बचे और ये वैसे विवादक बयान देते रहे.
If the results are hung, the political parties won't have much time to waste. With the elections in state delayed, it means a government has to be formed within 3 days. The Maharashtra Assembly's 5-year term officially ends on November 26. Article 172 of the Constitution requires a new government to be sworn in by then. If not, President's rule looms large, giving the centre direct control over state administration under Article 356. Amid the buzz, Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi leaders went into a huddle to strategize for the post-poll scenario. Mahayuti leaders are looking at whether the BJP will cross the critical 90-seat mark. The BJP's performance is key to deciding who will lead the state next. Both fronts are eyeing rebels and independents. Small parties like Prahar Jan Shakti, BVA and MNS are expected to tilt towards Mahayuti in case of a hung assembly. Counting takes place on Saturday. A victory for Mahayuti will help BJP bury the ghost of the Lok Sabha polls in which the party failed to win majority on its own. A victory for MVA will give the opposition a new lease of life after a huge setback they suffered in Haryana. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's bring in Rajdeep Sardesai, who's going to be live with you from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, getting you all the updates live on counting day. Rajdeep, good evening. With all that's playing out right now in Maharashtra, what do you think will be parties' plan B essentially in case of a hung assembly, and other smaller parties, Rajdeep, in Maharashtra that could perhaps play the role of kingmaker in such a circumstance?
Yes, I do believe that most parties are aware of the fact that who knows, Maharashtra could well throw up a hung assembly. So they are preparing for a plan B despite what the pollsters are saying. Some pollsters giving a clear win to the Mahayuti. I spoke a short while ago to Prakash Ambedkar, the leader of the Vanchit Bahujan, and he said, mark my words, people like me will decide who forms the next government. He's already made it clear that he will support anyone who's in a position to form a government. There are others too, smaller parties and independents who have been contacted. I am told by both the major formations, there could be BJP rebels who win, as well as a few Congress and NCP rebels. So my own sense is that for all the bravado that the parties are putting up, there is a sense of nervousness and anxiety, given the fact that there were so many multipolar contests in Maharashtra, and therefore neither side is taking any chances and will make every effort to contact the independents and smaller parties and bring them to their side at the earliest if, and of course that's a big if Maharashtra throws up a hung assembly.
You're saying, Rajdeep, no, nobody's taking any chances, but seeing the trends or seeing the exit polls, seeing the voter turnout, which camp do you think is going into tomorrow feeling more confident?
It's my view that seeing the trends, I do believe that the Mahayuti must feel more confident. At least 8 out of 10 surveys have have put them well ahead of the Vikas Aghadi. Even in a hung assembly situation, they may have 10, 15 more seats. And I think whichever alliance has more seats at the end of the day will be in pole position. But having said that, Sharad Pawar has just claimed that the Vikas Aghadi will get 157 seats. And that's very precise. Apparently, he's done a seat-by-seat calculation with his allies. So I think the Vikas Aghadi is hopeful. The Mahayuti is a little bit more confident. That's the sense I get.
Okay, all right. Rajdeep, we'll be looking forward, of course, to your coverage starting 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So don't forget to tune in. Rajdeep will be live in a state that he knows best on counting day. Thanks very much, Rajdeep, for joining us with your insight on what to really expect tomorrow. Of course, we're not going to go out there, put any predictions out, make any guesses of what to expect. But in hours from now, all of that suspense will come to an end. Like I said, right now, every single party is focused on Plan B. And let's get you a news break coming in on that. The Mahayuti clearly is now reaching out to smaller parties, reaching out to independents. Ramdas Athawale has confirmed that yes, we're in touch with several independents. If the need arises, the Mahayuti will be relying on the support of independents, on the support of smaller parties as well, like the MNS, like the BVA. They're hoping that all of them will join, and if there's a need, will boost their numbers as well. Athawale is saying very clearly that we're in touch with the independents, and if it's a close contest, we won't have a problem in ensuring that the numbers are on our side.
जिस तरह एग्जिट पोल की रिपोर्ट आ रही है उसके मुताबिक महायुति सरकार बना सकती है, इसी तरह की रिपोर्ट है। हम बहुत सारे इंडिपेंडेंट लोगों के संपर्क में हैं जो हमारी अलायंस पार्टनर्स हैं, हमारे उनके साथ हम संपर्क में है और हमें सरकार बनाने में कोई दिक्कत आएगी नहीं। महायुति की सरकार जरूर महाराष्ट्र में बनेगी और जो वादे हमने किए हैं वो वादे पूरा करने का काम हमारी सरकार करेगी।
Okay, let's bring in Saurabh Vakhtania, who's joining us live from Mumbai with more details on this. Saurabh, I'm sure you're geared up for tomorrow, but today itself, you're seeing a lot of preps taking place. You've got both the Mahayuti and Aghadi planning on what they will do if there's a situation of a hung assembly. Let's talk first about the Aghadi, Saurabh, and what they've been doing. There's been a virtual meet that we hear has been held, and all candidates, we're being told, who win will be rushed to Mumbai. Can you confirm that for us?
So, well, in the Mahavikas Aghadi, especially if we speak about the UBT Sena, they feel that there are more chances that they might, their MLAs might break, and therefore what they are planning is, like Sanjay Raut in the morning also said, that they are planning that by tonight they will be booking an hotel in Mumbai. They are saying that their hotel will be itself in Mumbai only, and once the results start coming out tomorrow afternoon, by that time they'll ask their MLAs, the winning MLAs, to shift to Mumbai by late evening. This is what the planning is, UBT Sena. The same which will be likely happening for the Congress as well. The sources are clearly telling us that same might happen with Congress as well. No decision has been taken for the NCP as of now, because it's a very interesting situation as of now, because in the last couple of years we have seen that how there has been shift of MLAs. There have been two parties which have split into two, and therefore there are very much fear in the party itself that their MLAs might shift, and there may be chances of horse trading as well.
Is that the case in Mahayuti also? Saurabh, is Mahayuti also getting resorts ready, getting to move, ready to move all of their winning candidates to Mumbai?
They might take, Shiv Sena is actually planning, here also this side Shiv Sena is planning. There are no information about BJP and the NCP of Ajit Pawar, but yes, they might plan, because by afternoon around there will be a sort of picture which will be clear, that because there are several surveys which have happened, and most of them are giving a very, not a huge edge, but a very slight edge to Mahayuti. I was talking to one of the top leaders in Mahayuti, what they feel right now, what they are confident is, Akshita, they are saying that we are confident around 150 to 160. So they are also not expecting a winning by a huge margin.
Yeah,
I was
that's
speaking
close,
to
and
one
that's
of the
why,
top
you know,
MPA leaders. He also
if
said
numbers
that
move here and there, they will be in trouble. Saurabh, we're going to connect with you tomorrow during our counting day coverage. Thanks very much for joining us with all of those updates. I'll just leave you with this picture of what exit polls really have predicted for Maharashtra and why there is all of this talk about horse trading, about Plan Bs, because of the numbers that are coming to the fore. Now, these are, in fact, several exit polls that we're looking at right now. First, as far as C-voter is concerned, of the 288 seats, 61 seats C-voter is declared are too close to call. So the Mahayuti at 112, the Aghadi at 104, others at 11. That's 61 seats. It could go either way, which means the whole picture could just change. Today's Chanakya predicts 175 plus for Mahayuti, cut or minus 11, similar of 100 for Aghadi, plus or minus 11, 13 others. In such a case, today's Chanakya is giving a much larger number to the Mahayuti. Besides them, you've got the People's Pulse also saying 175 to 195. So these are on the higher end for Mahayuti. Metriz is saying 150 to 170 for the Mahayuti, 110 to 130 for MVA, others at 8 and 10. So that particularly is also close. People's Pulse, as I said, 175 to 195 for the Mahayuti. So this right here, People's Pulse is giving the highest number for Mahayuti. MVA at 85 to 112. PMark is saying 137 to 157 for the Mahayuti, whereas for the Aghadi at 126 to 146. You have Lok Shahi and Bhaskar numbers as well, hovering around the 125 to 140 mark, in which case, if these numbers hold, you're going to see a very close fight where it goes down to the wire. This is what the exit polls have predicted. You can see it's a very thin, close, in fact, edge to the Mahayuti, which is why both sides right now are on tenterhooks, watching very closely what happens tomorrow. Of course, the trends will come in by about 11, 12. You should have a clear picture of which one of these pollsters are getting it right, if they have at all. We will, of course, be getting you all the latest updates starting 6 a.m. tomorrow. Our non-stop rolling coverage on counting day will kick off. I'm slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you a detailed report of how Canada now is backtracking, fact-checking and refuting reports of Prime Minister Modi's involvement in the Kill Nijjar plot. Imagine this, a Canadian newspaper has actually claimed that he was involved.
जमाने से हटकर बेबाक है मेरा सिग्नेचर finest cardamom seeds, a premium product from Dilbar Group.
It is a shame that the atrocities and the corruption of Mr. Gautam Adani was not discovered by any of the Indian agencies. Congress Party is demanding a joint parliamentary committee to inquire into this. So, Mr. Modi, what is it going to be? At least now we hope that you will take action, that Mr. Adani will be arrested immediately and prosecuted here or extradited to America.
तो बजाय कि अडानी को गिरफ्तार करे, अडानी ने किसको किसको दिया उससे उगलवाए। अब अडानी इतना इम्पोर्टेंट हो गया कि मुख्यमंत्री तक गिरफ्तार हुए वो गिरफ्तार नहीं हो सकता। अरे भाई कल्प्रिट कौन है, एक्यूज्ड कौन है? अडानी है। किसको चीट किया? अमेरिका के इन्वेस्टर को। एक बात है। और किस लिए चीट किया? इसलिए तो अडानी को बचाने के लिए सारा बीजेपी एक तरफा हो जाती है।
Welcome back. In huge humiliation for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, you had a Canadian newspaper making scathing, sweeping allegations claiming that Prime Minister Modi was also involved in the killing of Nijar. And this, of course, you've seen several allegations coming in from the Trudeau government, naming Indian government officials but not providing any proof. But now a Canadian daily taking it a step further, naming Prime Minister Modi, naming External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, as well as NSA Ajit Doval. And because of the outrage, the Trudeau government has been forced to backtrack, set the record straight, saying that these reports are completely inaccurate. There's no role of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar or Prime Minister Modi or NSA Doval. Now, India also has hit back sharply, saying these kind of reports are only adding to an already strained relationship between India and Canada.
The Canadian Prime Minister isn't having a great political season.
That's why, when our law enforcement and intelligence officials began pursuing credible allegations that...
After opening a dangerous diplomatic front with India over the killing of a pro-Khalistan terrorist in Canada, Justin Trudeau's escalations have now exploded in his face. 2 days after one of Canada's biggest newspapers carried the latest Trudeau government leak, quoting Canadian security agencies to link Indian Prime Minister Modi to the Nijar killing, the Canadian government on Friday stated that there is no evidence to connect Prime Minister Narendra Modi or any of his top officials to any criminal activity in Canada, including the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. But the leak to the Canadian newspaper wasn't a stray piece of planted information, but supported by claims made by Trudeau government ministers and senior officials.
Well, there was definitely a threat, and that's exactly why the RCMP decided to take the extraordinary measure of making public the fact that Canadians were being intimidated, victim of extortion, or even receiving death threats because Indian agents or agents and diplomats from India were linked to these criminal actions.
And also, literally, Trudeau himself.
They met with Indian officials to share RCMP evidence which concluded 6 agents of the Government of India are persons of interest in criminal activities. And despite repeated requests to the Government of India, it has decided not to cooperate.
While the Trudeau government's on-record claims have steered clear of naming the Indian Prime Minister or ministers, it has regularly conducted its diplomatic attacks on India via unsubstantiated leaks to newspapers, including this headline in the Washington Post and this plant in the Globe and Mail naming Indian Home Minister Amit Shah. The denial from Trudeau's own National Security Intelligence Agency isn't just an embarrassment, but a major U-turn, one that turns this entire saga on its head. The question now is, what has triggered this change of heart after more than a year of a smear campaign against India? Bureau Report, India Today.
It's a country rooted in the rule of law, and the protection of our citizens is.
And with that report, I'm wrapping up this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in. On the other side, 7 at 7, our focus will be on the Adani bribe gate and the United States' first statement on the US court's indictment against Gautam Adani. More details on that coming up with Gaurav Samant.
कर्नाटक में पूरा जिला में वक्फ का खिलाफ धरने में बैठे हैं। हर जगह में हमारे कार्यकर्ता लोग एमएलए हमारे एमपीस वक्फ का खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि वक्फ एक देशद्रोही कानून है। वक्फ एक लैंड जिहादी है, लैंड टेररिज्म है, हमारा जमीन का छीनने का एक षड्यंत्र है। इसके खिलाफ हम लड़ते रहेंगे, आज भी लड़ रहे हैं, आगे भी लड़ेंगे। जरूर पार्लियामेंट का अंदर कानून लाने के लिए सरकार को शक्ति भी देंगे हम।
Our demand immediately ban the Waqf Board. It's become a Timingala. It's a cancer to the Karnataka state farmers. Congress people directly supporting the Muslim Waqf Board. So we are becoming the second citizen. That's why you are given a warning notice also government. Government has not taken any decision.
Music.
Trust Karan Johar to bring the best of romantic dramas, both as a producer and as a director. He's a magician behind making even the unbelievable concept of romanticizing every aspect of love believable. In fact, he introduced and made these grand gestures look uber cool. So every time he brings the charm of such intense romantic dramas, one is bound to be glued in anticipation, and it happened once again. That's right. Karan Johar's Dharma Productions announced a new love story under its banner titled Chand Mera Dil, with Ananya Pandey and Lakshya as main leads. While both of them have been a part of Karan Johar-backed films in the past, this interestingly marks their first project together. What's also common between the two is the fact that both of them were launched into the world of showbiz by the magician himself. This announcement has only piqued interest as both Karan Johar and Vivek Soni promise to reintroduce the magic of love by blending timeless romance with fresh and young energy. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Co-powered by Voltas Beko Refrigerator, Sun's goodness in your fridge. Co-powered by MG Windsor EV, live business class.
Hello and welcome. You're watching India Today. I'm Gaurav Sawant. The political storm over the Adani allegation, that's exploding, and that's our top focus story. Let me quickly take you through all the top stories on 7 at 7. White House response to Adani bribe gate. India-US ties stand strong, says confident of cooperation from both sides. States named in the Adani bribe gate firefight the charges. YSRCP, DMK and the Congress refute the allegations, claim their power deal was with the central agency. Adani faces arrest if he doesn't appear for trial. Mahavikas Agadi fears horse trading hours before counting day. Sena UBT says MLAs will be kept in a Mumbai resort. Uddhav and Sharad Pawar hold virtual meet with candidates. Cash for votes controversy escalates in Maharashtra. BJP's Vinod Tavre sends a legal notice to Rahul Gandhi and Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, accuses them of levelling baseless charges. Freebie showdown in Delhi ahead of assembly elections. Arvind Kejriwal announces 6 freebies, including free power and water in Delhi. BJP hits out at the Revdi culture. Canada fact-checks its own media, refutes reports of NSA Doval, EAM Jaishankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi being linked to the Kill Nijjar plot. The US Adani storm is our top focus story on this special broadcast. The Adani Group, a powerhouse of India's multinational landscape, faces mounting challenges as global investors now hesitate following serious legal allegations and troubles. With allegations of bribery and fraud hanging over the leadership, the group is already feeling the impact. From scrapping major bond issues to losing international contracts, what does this mean for the group's future, and can it weather the storm? Our business bureau with our top story.
For a group which is today one of India's largest multinational conglomerates, the doors to global fundraising may slowly be closing, at least in the short term, till legal proceedings reach closure. The US indictment